Hello guys, today we're gonna talk about early game bosses and specifically Dream Run, but you can also adapt this information and use the same logic to when you jump into the season and so on. Well, I'm just gonna show you this replay. So in this replay, I'm using Sonya, Smokey, Odie, Lily May, and Coco. Coco for Skyclops are really good because of the damage reduction, and this is a really new account. It's not even a week old. At this point, I think it was like 3 days old. Maybe 4. So I'm using whatever heroes I've got upgraded. And what heroes I've been lucky enough to get through the wishlist. And using all this information and using these teams is what you need to do as well in the beginning. I get so many questions on what team should I use, what is really good for me, and so on. And it's really hard to answer because everyone's account is pretty unique, even if you use the same wishlist. So sometimes when, because I've been streaming daily lately, and people come in and ask a lot of stuff about Dream Realm and so on, and it is really hard to adapt the information to your account without seeing it. So here you see I couldn't kill Skyclops. So what I did was I was like, I'm lacking damage. Healing is fine. Sure, some of the heroes died a bit in, but I was lacking damage. And Odie was my highest damage dealer in this case. So what I was thinking was like, hey, what happens if we just change to Enlightening Spell instead, increasing attack speed on Odie even further? Maybe he will be able to form even better, and maybe we'll be able to kill the Skyclops then. So, trying out and just experimenting, even though I know there is other heroes that can perform better than my Odie. What I'm doing right now is utilizing my account to its full potential with the heroes I've gotten. And you can do the same thing when you jump into this season in the beginning. If your account isn't properly established and really like in that late game, this is what you need to do anyways. If you go and check out like the best Dream Realm lineups, you still need to do some of these thinking when it comes to this stuff. So there I managed to kill Skyclops. And we then get into the next problem. When I got into the next difficulty, this was happening. Look how quickly that Skyclops gains energy. And what happens? He one-shots both my Lily May and Smokey. So, how can I solve this issue is what I'm thinking right now. What was happening? Okay, Skyclops are getting a lot of energy and real quickly. You can see here, Lily May dealt a decent amount of damage considering she get one-shotted. And together with Odie, she dealt a lot of damage as well. Or they dealt a lot of damage together. So, we then have this issue where we're dealing too much damage too quickly. So I was thinking, what if we change back to Awakening Spell? That way we get a bit more healing and we also get that damage reduction. And yes, I'm actually using Smokey as a tank here. That's something you can do in the early game as well. You just gotta make sure that your heroes have enough resonance level and good enough ascension to survive. So, what was going on here is, first I was thinking, oh, too much damage, let's change it. Okay, healing isn't enough. What happens? I don't think I changed anything to this. I just tried again, just to see if it was an RNG thing. What I did after that was I changed out the Lily May. And now I placed Foran at the top, because I needed Smokey to survive longer so he can heal. So look what happens now that I've changed out this lineup, and Thorin is really nice, good tanking, he's getting his ability off, and he also hits all of the summons in front. And all of a sudden, you see, the beam came out now, but we have the damage reduction coming out from Coco's ultimate. So that was really strong and way better than dealing a lot of damage in the beginning. And that's some things you have to have in mind when you're doing this kind of stuff. And Perfectly timed Coco ultimate again with the damage reduction. And as you can see, we're at 25 seconds right now. So I'm actually managing to survive very long in this fight. So sometimes you actually need to remove damage because you're dealing too much damage too quickly. And that's what's killing you, basically. It's been really interesting starting over a new account and just experimenting like this. Because this is the stuff you forget when you get to an established account. I think here's just an example of... I thought, because we had a period where Lily May could dodge the stuff from Snow Stomper and still use her abilities. And I also wanted to try out Sinbad, and since I've gotten a lot of Sinbad copies, Sonya and Rowan copies, I thought like maybe Lightbearers can deal a decent amount of damage here. But it turns out they couldn't, so I replaced them again. Even if I lost the faction bonus, because here we have 2 Greyborns and 2 Lightbearers and 1 Mauler. So even if I lost the faction bonus here, I actually managed to deal more damage. Taking a while to getting this Bonnie out, but working out fine. So sometimes you just need to experiment and just try around and see what's happening. And this time Odie, sometimes he doesn't change the target. So Bonnie actually died here, sadly. And I think I could have possibly performed better if I swapped out and experimented even further. But I didn't have more time that day to do it. But this is what you guys need to do. Just try out different lineups. And even when you're asking like content creators or in Discords and asking people like what best lineup and then it's not performing the best for you, that's what you need to do as well. You just need to think about what is my best heroes on my team and how can I position them to make great progress and deal more damage as well, and how do I increase the survivability of my team. We actually have some of the same issues here on Necro. As you can see, like the first attempt on Necro only dealt 1500 almost. But the last attempt I had dealt almost 2.5. That's all because I was moving around lineup, trying out what works best, who works best. Do I need the faction bonus or can I survive without it? Because if we go back and check here. Also try that, what happens if I do use a Foreign instead, and can he deal a decent amount of damage even though he's a tank? You just need to find that out by yourself, by trying different lineups. And here I thought again, maybe with Sinbad and Sonya and Lightbearer, it will be fine. But even the Lily May, I only have 1 copy of Lily May right now, so it isn't working out the best. As you can see, I'm even swapping out these heroes a lot to just see what works. And to be fair, in the early stages, or for example in Necro, even though, for example, Smokey's standing still here, the bomb that goes around that deals more damage and prevents getting energy, that doesn't hurt as badly in the beginning of the game when you're starting out. But the further up you get in difficulty, the harder it will be, so maybe you need to swap around and use someone else than Smokey later on. But this is working out fine. So this is just one of those things, you need to experiment, you need to find out what works for you. And as you can see, you can usually do a big jump if you just find the correct heroes that works on your account. And when it comes to Necro, you can actually see here. Even here I was struggling. Just in the beginning, doing damage to the difficulty before. Sure, I later on level up my resonance a bit, and that does a lot of it in the beginning as well. But I was still trying to find what team works best, and that's just something you need to do. But lately I've been trying to get away from recommending specific heroes in the beginning. I still have wishlist and so on, but what's most important is how you use your account and how you adapt. And that's something I learned once again now that I started over. And this time my RNG haven't been that insane, it's been a bit more normal. So I haven't been high rolling like a crazy amount, but it's still been working out great. So even if you're following a wish list, even if you look up guides on what the best team is for each boss, if you're not a very established account and you don't have those specific heroes for that guide, then you need to experiment. And this is especially true in the beginning, in the starter story, and also in the beginning of season if your account isn't established with like 20 S+ heroes, or at least 15 with the most core ones like Odie, Lily May, Sonya, Mikola, Fresto, and so on. That's when you need to just do your best and try to find out what works. I hope this beginner guide was helpful for you, and hopefully you can perform a bit better in Dream Realm now that you know that going for that guide or what people recommend isn't always the best. It's a good building foundation to what you can do on your account. You also have to think when you're replacing heroes on what does this hero do in the fight, and what heroes do I have that basically does the same and can replace the hero. But as always, thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.